on the body that carries you. My friend, this morning I woke early, before the light had fully arrived, and I noticed something I am almost ashamed to admit I have overlooked for years: my own breathing. There it was, steady and faithful, asking nothing of me. My lungs had been working through the night, keeping their quiet appointment with the air, while I lay dreaming of things far less remarkable. It struck me that I have written to you many times about how to think, how to choose, how to live, and yet I have said almost nothing about the astonishing companion that makes all of it possible: your body. We are strange creatures, you and I. We spend our finest hours training the mind, sharpening our reason, examining our judgments, and all the while the body sits patiently in the corner like a loyal dog waiting to be noticed. We feed it almost as an afterthought. We drag it through sleepless nights and forgive ourselves for the neglect because we were busy doing important things. And yet, without this body, where would your important things be? Every truth you have ever understood, you understood through a mind housed in bone. Every moment of beauty that has ever stopped you mid-step, you perceived through eyes that somehow learned to see. The grandest philosophy ever conceived was conceived inside a body that also needed lunch. We would do well to sit with that truth more often. There is something gently comic about this, if you are willing to see it. We treat the body as though it were merely the cart carrying the treasure, forgetting that without the cart, the treasure sits in the mud. You would not ride a horse faithfully across a continent, neglect to water it, and then wonder why it stumbled. And yet we do precisely this to ourselves, daily, with great confidence and no small amount of pride, as though exhaustion were a kind of currency and neglect a sign of serious purpose. I assure you, it is not. The most serious thing you can do is tend to the instrument through which all your seriousness is expressed. A philosopher who forgets to eat is not more devoted. He is merely hungrier and probably worse company for it. Consider for a moment what your body has given you without your ever asking. It healed the wound on your knee when you were small, stitching itself back together in the dark while you slept. It learned to walk, though no one could explain to an infant how balance works, and yet one day you simply stood and tottered forward as though you had made a private agreement with gravity. It has fought off illness you never even knew was at the gates, quiet battles waged inside you by forces too small to see and too numerous to thank. Your heart has been beating since before you had a name. Not once has it asked for your permission. Not once has it sent you a letter requesting gratitude. It simply continues, pump after faithful pump, through your griefs and joys and long Tuesday afternoons, because that is what it does. I ask you honestly, what friend in your life has been so constant? And then there are the senses, those magnificent, unearned gifts. Think of what it is to taste bread fresh from the oven, the warmth of it breaking open in your hands, steam rising like a small offering. Think of cold water on a hot afternoon, how it arrives in the body like a quiet celebration. Think of the smell of rain on dry earth, that ancient scent that seems to unlock something deeper than memory. Think of the weight of a wool blanket on a winter evening, or the particular pleasure of stretching after long stillness, that glorious unfolding of muscle and tendon that makes you feel, just for a moment, like something waking from good sleep. These are not trivial pleasures. These are the ways the world reaches in and touches you, and you are only able to receive them because of this body you so often forget to honor. Every sunset you have ever admired, you admired with borrowed equipment. The loan has been extraordinarily generous. Perhaps it is time you noticed. I know what you may be thinking, because I have thought it too. The body ages. It slows. It aches in places it never ached before, and it refuses, eventually, to do what it once did without hesitation. This is true. But consider the old tree that no longer produces the wild, reaching growth of its youth. Its wood is denser, its roots deeper, its shade wider and more welcoming. It is not less than what it was. It has become something else, something that has made its peace with time. Your body, too, is not betraying you by changing. It is simply moving through its seasons, as everything honest in nature does. The knees that creak carried you up 10,000 staircases. The eyes that tire read 10,000 pages by lamplight and loved every one. The hands that stiffen held your children, built your shelves, wrote your letters. Do not mourn the change. Honor the mileage. A ship that has crossed many seas does not apologize for its weathered hull. There is also a wisdom in the body that the mind, for all its cleverness, cannot replicate. When you are afraid, your body knows it before you do. It tightens, it braces, it sends you signals you would be wise to heed. When you are truly at peace, you feel it first in the softening of the shoulders, in the unclenching of the jaw, in the slow release of a breath you did not realize you were holding. Grief lives in the chest, heavy and specific. Joy arrives in the stomach, strange as that may sound, like a small, warm animal curling up inside you. The body is not separate from your inner life. It is the landscape upon which your inner life unfolds. To ignore its messages is to read a map while refusing to look at the territory beneath your feet. So here is what I wish for you, and it is simpler than anything I have ever asked of you before. Today, attend to this companion, not with vanity, not with anxiety, but with the same gentle respect you would offer a dear friend who has served you faithfully and asked for almost nothing in return. Feed it well. Let it rest when it is weary. Move it through the open air, not as punishment, but as celebration. Feel the ground beneath your feet, and remember that you are here, alive, housed in a body that has carried you through every beautiful and terrible thing you have ever known. Place your hand over your heart, just for a moment. Feel that steady rhythm. That is not nothing, my friend. That is everything. That is the drum that has kept time for every song your life has ever played. And it is still playing, still faithful, still yours. Go gently with it. You two have a long way yet to travel together.